time. Thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate you. Today, we will talk about part two of the very first step of the 12 steps, which is that our lives had become unmanageable. I did one of the first part of it, which was powerlessness, and defined kind of what powerlessness looked like to me, and kind of the depth of desperation that I had to go through in order to come to the recognition that I was indeed powerless. So today, I want to spend some time talking about unmanageability, because that can look different for everyone. It doesn't necessarily look the same. What do I mean by that? Good question. So there are points throughout my addiction or my addictive use or my time during substance use that, despite how crazy, how chaotic, how unorganized, how unmanageable things were, I still wanted to believe that I was in control, that I wasn't an addict, that I didn't have a problem, that I was able to manage it from day to day. Now, some of us are able to see unmanageability easier than others. What does that mean? Well, it means that some of us are able to see the chaos sooner, so, or we get stopped in our tracks sooner. For me, there was a few times where unmanageability took over and gave me a warning to say, hey, there's something wrong. But I just didn't listen. I wasn't ready to listen. And that's another part of the disease of addiction that takes over our ability to decide whether or not we are, in fact, unmanageable and powerless. So some of us get charged with driving while under the influence, disorderly conduct, arguments, fights, irregular behavior out of our normal routine. Well, what does that look like? Well, I can tell you what it looked like for me. For me, I wanted to stay isolated. I wanted to push everyone away. Morning, John. Thank you so much for joining us. I wanted to put myself in this bubble that kept me safe, or at least what I felt was safe, from showing everybody how sick I really was, how unmanageable my life really was. I wanted everybody to think that I had everything together, and didn't want everyone else to see how chaotic my substance use had really become. And there was only a handful of people, or a few people, that were in that tight circle that really saw how unmanageable it is. And if you were inside that circle to see how chaotic my day-to-day was, you were concerned for me. But it didn't start out like that, right? So it first starts off with, you know, uh, just experimentally using here and there, maybe once every second day or once every third day or maybe once a week. But slowly but surely, that once a week or once every second day or once every third day doesn't become enough. It doesn't fill the gap. It doesn't fill the void. It doesn't change. And eventually, that habit of using to fill the void of uncomfortable emotions, trauma, um, stress becomes the way you do respond to everyday interactions. And then what happens is we start to use more frequently, more often, and our body becomes dependent or tolerant to those substances that we're using. And we increase our tolerance, and we increase our usage, and we increase the amount we're using and how often we're using it. And then our body and our mind becomes dependent on that answer to all of our problems. And then we spend more time investing into the solution of using and avoiding the pain and avoiding the uncomfortable emotions and avoiding everyone else and lying and cheating and stealing in order to fill the need for our addiction, in order to fill the need to use that substance, whatever it may be. Again, it can be a variety of things. It doesn't necessarily just have to be drugs or alcohol. It could be food. It can be pornography. It can be a multitude of outlets that are out there today: digital media, social media, streaming. There's all different kinds of addictions that are out there to distract us, to keep us chained and bonded to what it wants us to do. But I think, well, for me, it it comes down to deciding when you're finished putting up with or tolerating the vicious cycle of insanity, which is not recognizing I'm powerless and not recognizing my life has become unmanageable. That life is unmanageable the way that I am currently operating it, the way that I am filling my life with substance use and not dealing with my emotions, not dealing with conflict, pushing everyone away and isolating, not investing into myself or my family or anyone else other than my substance use. And sometimes that decision can be difficult. Sometimes it can be hard. Sometimes we build a relationship with the substance that we're using for so long that we just don't know who we would be without it. And that is the most difficult spot to be in. So when you define yourself by how you use what you use, and it's a part of your DNA, it's hard to disconnect. It's hard to step into a 12-step program. It's hard to start that very first step, recognizing that you're powerless, recognizing that your life has become unmanageable. And there's like a grieving process that we go through when we decide that our lives have become unmanageable. And there's a guilt and a shame attached to it. At least that's how I felt when I first started recovery, was all of these overwhelming emotions when I decided, you know what, I have a problem. I am powerless over my tendency to use drugs and or alcohol or both. And my life is unmanageable unless I choose to do something different, unless I choose to do something about it, unless I choose to invest in me and decide to step out into something new and into a recovery program and into a 12-step program, into what it's designed to do, which is to help and to get set free. So I think that that's kind of a little bit of what unmanageability looks like to me, and what it can do for you. There are links that are in the description of the video. Please like and subscribe to our YouTube page to get the most up-to-date videos for you today. Thank you for joining us here on Firebrand Recovery Community. I appreciate you and look forward to seeing you on the next one.